Y'all, it's about to go down. I said, y'all, it's about to go down.
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome. Welcome to a special World Kidney News broadcast. That's right. World Kidney News. You see the logo. This is the first premiere of World Kidney News. Special broadcast tonight. And if you're in Dallas's Boot Camp 101, you're in for a great surprise. Welcome. I'm Steve Belcher. This is going to be a great show tonight. I got a gentleman that I had on last week, a week from today, right out the hospital. Last week he was on the show right before his transplant on Monday morning. We were able to sit in with his family while they prayed. And whom I'm talking about Terrence McLean. He's here tonight to share his story. But before we get to Terrence, I'm going to bring on gentlemen that's going to help co-host with me. You all know this guy. He's from the hit show Warrior's Quest. No other than Jared A. Brown. What's going on, Jared?
Hey, man. Thanks, man. This is awesome. Thank you for bringing me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on. How's the weather up in Hooper, Utah? Man,
it's fairly cold, you know. We've had a little bit of snowing here and there, but you know, it's spring will come sooner or later.
Sure. Yeah, man. Your show last week, Warrior's Quest, was a great show. You had Lewis and Jasmine Johnson on. Yeah. How did you find this couple?
Jasmine approached me. She was referred to me by someone. I'm forgetting who it was, but she was referred to me, you know, and so she hit me up, just messaged me, and you know, wanted to get scheduled for the show to kind of promote her husband's need for a kidney donor. And you know, and I didn't really have much interaction, but I got to tell you, man, their chemistry together was awesome. I mean, you know, because you interviewed them as well, and they just go there. Yeah, I mean, they just have this really good bond, and you know, and it was wonderful to kind of show that on, you know, on a live broadcast, because so many other kidney warriors, you know, if they watch that and see that they can have, you know, a relationship like that, that is just a great reflection of how a kidney warrior can still be happy, you know, despite having kidney disease.
Absolutely. And I did a show based off of them called In Sickness and in Health, which Jasmine wrote a long post introducing herself and her husband seeking a kidney donation. So let's bring on this guy, Jared. I mean, had him on the show last week.
I watched it. Yeah, I saw it.
But let's look at this for a second, man. Look at these. That's what they took out of Terrence.
All right, man.
Disease, polycystic kidneys. And honestly, from here, Jared, they almost look like
it looks like I mean, it looks like some sort of meteor rock or something. And you know, my older brother has PKD, and you know, his doctor had kind of guessed. He says, you know, I don't know how many cysts you have, but it's you know, he said it's so hard to count, you know, because he has so many cysts on his kidneys.
Right.
You know,
right.
So it is just unfathomable.
I mean, that's amazing. I'm wondering how he dealt with the pain. That looks like that would be painful, one on each side. You walking around.
Right.
And I don't know if they're actually really small when you get up close, or
I don't know.
You know, pictures making them kind of look larger than what they actually are. But let's ask the guy who they came out of.
All right.
He knows they came in this room and showed him Without further ado, Terrence McLean. What's going on, Terrence?
Terrence, thanks.
Oh, welcome everybody. Yo, thanks for having me again. Thanks to everybody who's watching.
Right now we only have one person watching. However, now somebody else came on. However, this will be played back again and again. Trust me.
Oh, for sure.
So we don't worry about that. At first, when we started this, we did, far as me, let me speak for myself. I did have concern about viewership. Maybe one person watching, two. Sometimes you may get 10 or whatever. It should be more, but they can always go back and watch the broadcast. We can't stop the information because no one's watching. If it's only one person watching, just like at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, you got to come and listen. If only one person leaves out and get that message of hope or of recovery, then you completed your work.
That's true.
And the group that we started here, this Facebook group, Dialysis Boot Camp 101, I think that's what you named it. It's going to be, it may be a little smaller in the beginning, but both you and I, Steve, we've got this vision of what it can become. And so, it may be small right now, but like you said, it's going to get bigger, and we're going to replay this. We're going to upload it to YouTube, Terrence. And, if a kidney warrior watches this, whether it's now or 6 months from now, and hears your story and is uplifted and encouraged, then that's worthwhile. And man, oh my gosh, I watched it on Monday, and you had such a support system. I'm anxious to hear a little bit more about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had my whole family. I actually had Sunday. I had my family here for and also a celebration of life.
That's right. You were right. That's right. It was the Super Bowl party because I remember you said you were rooting for the Niners, and I was rooting for the Niners actually. Yeah, because my father-in-law before he passed away was a 49ers fan, and so I was rooting for the 49ers, but they didn't end up winning, but it was still a very enjoyable Super Bowl to watch. It was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I tell anybody, win or lose, I'm still going to support my team.
Oh, I hear you.
Right,
yeah. Right. That's a real fan. Yeah.
Terrence, before we hear your story, I just want to give a shout out to Candy. I don't want to pronounce her first name wrong, Githaline, but I'm going to call you Candy. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate your support. Jared, she's definitely a big supporter and interacting in the post. Candy.
Githaline Candy Mulligan.
Mm-hmm. I just call it Candy. Okay, that's what I want to call it. Yeah. So Candy, thanks for watching. But Terrence, we just showed the picture. Let me bring it back. Sorry, Jared. We just showed the picture right there. These two kidneys came out of you.
That could be Jared's picture right there.
It looks like me.
But this is amazing. Now, did you feel them when they were actually inside you?
Yeah, I was, like I told you last week, I was constantly in pain.
Oh my God.
So I haven't had I've had pain-free days here, but over the last 10 years, I've had days where it was just ridiculous.
It's unbearable, probably, right?
Did you know that they were that big?
I went to had a screen I think in July or August, and they told me that it was taking up about 65 to 75% of my insides.
Wow.
So I can only imagine.
So like a real kidney is about the size of a fist, but because of the cyst, your kidneys get enlarged and they become bigger because it's almost like they're swelling up, and then the cysts are getting bigger as well. So since they weren't the size of a fist, what
my wife said somebody came out and told them, I'm sure it was somebody with the surgery team and was like,
right,
kidneys were the size of watermelons.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, is this common for them to do everything all at once?
No, actually, I'm in other groups, and again, I want to shout out Dialysis Boot Camp because I had an issue with two of the groups I'm in today. People, let's go with that. People, I just personally feel like, a group is people, trying to get information out. And if you're trying to get information out and you have a Facebook page, you should share that information among your people, no matter who sends you the information.
Right.
You shouldn't have restrictions on who should share what. If you have 100 people in that group and 100 people need a kidney, all 100 people could share everybody's kidney, request, and there's gonna be somebody that feels that particular person's story and get that out.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I just want to reiterate something you said. I just want to, what's the word I want to use? I can't think of the word, but let me just say, Dialysis Boot Camp 101 is kind of different from the rest of the groups, Terrence. And
I know that. I see that.
The reason I designed it, like people can't share. And the reason why we designed it that way, because we don't want to take away from the information that we're putting out there. If you go into a lot of these other groups, you'll see some dietary stuff, some positive quotes, a lot of everything, and it really doesn't reflect the group. I see a lot of
stuff. People are complaining about their clinics. People ask a question about their health, and I'm like, yo, no matter where you go, that information is going to be there. You could find the information on what's going on with your health, but the question is, are you actually intaking that information?
Oh, absolutely.
If you're not intaking that information, you're never going to learn.
Right.
Exactly. And that's why we designed the Dialysis Boot Camp for people who need just that information like we put out. I'm sure you've seen the information on the site. Some people told me they'd never seen that information before. And a lot of this information is from when I first started, like back from the 80s and the 90s, that you really don't see this information anymore. But if it applies to today's, if it applied to kidney disease back in the 80s and 90s, nothing's changed. So it applies today the same way.
Right. Some things have changed. Some things have changed.
Technology, but
they've actually, a lot of things, changes with technology. So, I mean, like let's say you post something about the 4x4, and when I first started dialysis as a technician, we used to put we used to put tape instead of a Band-Aid. Now they use Band-Aids and then tape because the tape could cause an infection. So, that's why I say, a lot of places don't use the 4x4s now or the 2x4s. So you put Band-Aids first.
Yeah, we used to use, well, that's to save money, because we used to use, and where I don't work no more, but places that I have seen had 2x2s, sterile 2x2s. They take them out and cover the site and then put the tape over that. But let's not talk about that. I want to hear your story, man, from last week, because this is amazing to have these two kidneys removed from you. You can see the multiple cysts, something that really you never hear about. But take us through. You woke up Monday morning. Were you nervous? Take us through that whole situation.
I'm not even a lot. I'll be candid with you guys. My wife's laid here next to me, and when I first woke up, I became very emotional. The first thing she said was like, we got to get up and get ready. And I just broke down crying, like,
wow,
today's the day. And
so it's because I remember on your interview Sunday, you said it hadn't really, sunk in, and it hadn't really hit you at the moment.
Nah, and like I said, I've been offered kidneys before, so
yeah,
it was like, okay, I'm not gonna believe it till I actually believe it. And when it was time to actually get up and go at 4:30 in the morning to go to the hospital, it was just like, wait, hold up, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
So it was like a rough morning getting out the house, because it felt like every step I took that morning, like I started getting heavier. So,
wow.
I got to the hospital, I got in the car, I cried a little bit in the car, I held my wife's hand, got to the hospital, I cried, I had a couple of the intake nurses was amazing, they made sure, even though I cried, they put me to the side. It was like, they prayed with me and was like, yo,
that's so
it'll be
cool.
okay. So
Yeah.
but again, it was built up emotion from a lot of years.
Right.
How long you was doing dialysis? 6 years?
6 years. Almost 6 years. May would have made 6 years.
All right. So nearly 6 years.
Wow. So did you ever think during that time that your sister would change your mind?
I didn't know, and to be honest with you, I didn't even think about that. It was like, whatever's meant to happen is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Wow. And so tell us when the intake, they took you in, you get a room, and from the time that you signed in, how long did it take for the surgery?
We got there, it was a little bit before 5:30, and as soon as we walked in, they took me straight back to start doing lab work, changing my clothes. I was real nervous, so I was real antsy. So they gave me a device to like play games over my head, the DVR type thing.
Okay.
VCR, I don't know. It's one of them kids things.
Oh, virtual reality?
Virtual reality.
So okay. Where was your sister at during this time?
She at this time, I think she was in the next room, but she kept coming back and forth.
Huh.
Okay.
So it was like everybody was there. My wife, my mom's, my dad, my aunt, my niece, my little cousin. So we had a lot of people there, and they just, everybody kept coming back, and a lot of nurses was coming like, you got a lot of support here, and it wasn't that I mean, I appreciated the support, but it was just more so like, I'm scared out of my mind. It was always that not knowing what's happening next. Anybody get up for a regular job, what your job consists of, and you know what's gonna happen. Me, here it is, I'm about to have surgery and be back for X amount of hours. I don't know, how I'm gonna feel when I'm waking up. I don't know what's gonna happen while I'm sleeping.
That can be scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Now, I imagine that when you went in, they removed the 2 diseased kidneys first.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
I would assume that's what they did. That's what they said they was going to do. Take the kidneys out and then put the new kidney in.
Mm-hmm. Now, how long did all this take?
Well, my wife said over 10 hours, so almost 11 hours.
Wow.
I went in about 7:30.
11 hours.
I went in about 7:30 and came out after 6, close to 7. So I don't know.
The whole day done went by.
Yeah, I bet you're.
Yeah, and the thing was, my sister they said my sister came out. My sister went in about 7:30 and came out about 12:01.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I guess they expected me to come out shortly after her, but I didn't. Mm-hmm. I just was still there.
Did that make them a little nervous?
Yeah, the family was like, they didn't know what was going on,
Right.
But they said that people kept coming out, checking on them, letting them know that I was okay.
Okay, that's good.
But all this time I didn't know. When I finally woke up, though, I was strapped to the bed, like my hands was taped down. But I was.
Were you intubated?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was intubated. I had a direct line that went to my heart.
An A line.
And I had a catheter in my.
Sure. A Foley.
Yeah, Foley.
Mm-hmm. So you was in ICU.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For a few days. Surgery was Monday. I came out of ICU on Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Went to a regular room. Thursday, regular room. Friday, they took the Foley out, took the lines out, sent me home Friday night.
Wow.
And so, wait a minute. When you was in ICU, right? Okay, well, let me back that up. When did the kidney start working immediately on the operating table?
Yeah, they said when they finally attached it, it started working.
Mm-hmm.
So all I know is when I when I woke up from my stupor, you know, they was like, they already changed the Foley bag like 3 times already.
Wow. And they some large bags. I think they like 1,000 milliliters, I believe,
I don't
bags.
know, but
Wow.
you know, and throughout the night, the nurse kept coming back, changing. So, and you know, I go to the bathroom like quite frequently now. Like I'm going to the bathroom like 3, 4 times an hour.
Now, are you on, if you don't mind us asking, are you on any antibiotics for the removal of those kidneys
Nah, no antibiotics.
or
I'm on
prophylactic?
antifungal, antidepressants.
Okay.
So how many pills are you taking now?
31 a day.
Wow. Let me ask you this. We had somebody on, I can't remember, but they were only taking 5. When you hear a story when someone's taking 5 pills opposed to you taking 31, what goes through your mind? I can't hear you.
That means they got their kidney problem.
So last week, did you turn down your volume? Jared, can you hear him?
Not very well.
We can hardly hear you, Terrence.
I'm gonna log off and come back on.
Okay. Wow, Jared, what do you think of his story?
Wow. Well, I mean, the amazing thing to me is just the size of the kidneys. You know, my older brother Randy has PKD, and you know, he complains about pain, but I can only imagine, you know, having these cysts and how painful, you know, it is for a kidney warrior that has PKD. I mean, that's just they look like they're so enlarged, you know, and for them to spend 11 hours, you know, it must have been because of not only removing the 2 kidneys, but then putting in the other kidney. And, you know, that sounds like a full day's work.
Oh,
really
absolutely. I'm sure they had to, you know, stop the bleeding and sever off some arteries when removing that in vein. So that's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Really
and for him to be back a week later and you know, share his story is by far amazing in itself.
It really is.
Let me see, Candy. Wait till he comes back, but I want to post something that Candy wrote. She said, I used to work in the OR before my kidney days, and I assisted with removing my first polycystic kidney on January 20th, 1981. Wow. I was still in high school. I was in the 12th grade, about to graduate in 81. Wow. It was as big as Terrence's biggest. Remember it because the surgeon let us listen to the inauguration. Case started at 12:01, just as it started. Wow. And then okay, I got Terrence back. Hey, Terrence.
Hey, can you guys hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Much better. Yeah. So what I asked you, Terrence, was about your medicine regimen. You mentioned that you were taking 31 pills, and Audrey, that's who it was. Audrey from down in Florida. She's taken 5. She's had her transplant for 15 years.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, okay. So as you go on, that's going to be tapered down.
Yeah. As your body adjusts to it. The only thing you'll be on after about a year or 2 would probably be the antidepressants. I mean, anti-rejections.
Right.
Hey, Terrence, tell us, you worked in dialysis for 15 years, right?
Yes, sir.
and then you had then unfortunately you became a kidney patient as well.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence, I was a tech, as well. Now, I'm not going to kid you. We just chopping it up. We in the group. There were many times when I was working that I prayed that I would never have to find myself in that position. Right? Now, yeah. I'm sure you thought the same thing.
I more than thought. I prayed like, oh my God, it actually was, it scared me. When you see people in, you see their blood, you see people cramping, you see people throwing up.
Right. Now,
I don't wish that on my worst enemy.
That first day when you sat in that chair, did all that you thought about come back to you over those 15 years?
When I started, I didn't start with PD. I started with PD, not hemo.
Oh, you did.
Okay, good choice. Right. Because that's what I said. I always said, when I was working in dialysis, and even today, if I get kidney disease and I had to go in dialysis, PD was the first choice. Ain't nobody in that clinic touching me. Hell no, you ain't touching me.
And that's how I felt.
PD.
I went PD and I did PD for about a year till I caught I caught it in an infection. I caught it in an infection, and not getting against peritonitis. I caught it in an infection in one of the cysts. Right where the cat.
Wow.
So, I also at the same time I had a hernia that was infected. So
wow,
they had to go in and take that out. And when they took it out, they took the PD catheter out and was like, okay, we're gonna put a catheter in your neck and put you on hemo. And
right. Wow. Wow. I have some other friends as well that worked in dialysis and now on dialysis. So, I mean, we already know it can happen to anybody. It doesn't matter if you work in dialysis or you don't work in dialysis. If you're a
don't matter,
celebrity,
you could be anybody. It could happen.
Yeah. So how do you feel today, man? I mean, post-op 1 week, pretty much. Tomorrow would be 1 week, but I mean, we're talking hours. But how do you feel overall? Can you tell a difference from how you used to feel on dialysis, now having the kidney? Can you tell a difference? And if you can, what is the difference? What are the differences?
The one major difference is I haven't had dialysis in over a week. That's the major difference. Major difference is I'm peeing. As far as not knowing if I have kidneys in my stomach, right now I can't really feel about not having kidneys in me because I got 40 staples from my chest down to my groin.
Okay, wow.
So right now, the discomfort, I'm still having seepage coming out from the staples.
Sure.
So right now, I can't really sit back and say, okay, well, I feel this, I can say, I feel a lot better, depends on the part of the day. My energy levels may be up, but then there's times where my energy levels, I could be sitting here talking to you and everything just depletes. And it's just like, okay, I got to go. I'll talk to you later.
Right. Let me ask you this. Have you noticed a change in your skin tone?
Yeah, I've heard that, from like that Tuesday morning. I've heard everybody keeps telling me, oh, your skin complexion lightened up. You look like a whole different person. And it's like, I guess.
Can you tell the difference by looking in the mirror?
I could honestly, I could look at myself, and when I take a picture of myself, I could see my smile back. And
that's important.
I think every picture I've taken over the last couple of days, I'm actually smiling. I think I had one picture where I didn't smile, but I was in a hospital and I was having like a really bad day, and the pain was just like beating me up. But
wow.
I could see in my face. I could see my skin is a lot more clear. I'm in a lot better place. I'm happy.
Now, Terrence, let me just ask you this. I know you're feeling some pain from the surgery. That could be expected. But can you tell a difference with those two kidneys out now? Can you feel a difference?
I keep being told I could, but like I said, because I guess because I feel the pain from the staples, I don't feel that.
Yeah.
I feel lighter.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
I don't feel, I don't know. And I'm sure because they took the kidneys was huge. But as far as, my stomach area, I've been told my stomach is going down drastically, which was expected. But
wow.
I mean,
Jared, you host Warriors Quest. We coming up next month, March 6th, will be a year you doing this show. God bless you every week, faithfully, for almost a year. Like I said, next month, March 6th, will be 1 year.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, you interview many people looking for a kidney. Have you seen a story such as Terrence, or had heard of anyone you advocated for who may have had polycystic, the kidneys been removed the same day and been transplanted? Have you came across any story like that?
Oh, not exactly. I mean, I know that I'm trying to try to connect the kidney warriors that I've interviewed that have PKD, and I know I've interviewed some that have PKD. I can't connect the name right now, but I would say that having heard that they were removed, it's a little surprising, but I guess it makes sense, because why keep it in there if it's if it's causing him pain and he doesn't need that anymore. But the fact that that you're smiling, that that you're feeling happiness. I mean, those things right there are just what I like to hear. Because I interview kidney warriors that are looking for a kidney, and your story about being happy and smiling and having pictures taken when you're smiling, that gives other warriors hope, and that's, man, to hear that you're smiling again is awesome, because that makes it worth it, brother.
Oh, absolutely. So Terrence, you had mentioned that, now you want to advocate. So let me ask you your first question, as an advocate. Being, like you mentioned, you checked off all three boxes. You worked in dialysis. You had you was on dialysis, and you had a transplant. So for some people watching right now who's on dialysis that doesn't have siblings that could donate to them or not in that position, what would you say to them, man, as they watching this story, wishing like saying, damn, I don't even have a brother and sister that could donate to me, or in fact, they may even have a brother or siblings and they may not even donate to them. What would you what could you tell them?
We're in the 22nd century, right? We have something that we didn't have in the 80s, the early 90s. We have what we call the internet. Most people get on the transplant list and wait for the kidney center to say, okay, it's your turn. So it's a pecking order, okay, okay, today you're fine. Okay, tomorrow you might need a kidney. So right now you might be next on list, but something comes up with somebody else and they jump over you.
Yeah.
Here it is, you're like, oh, I thought I was next in line, but some drastic change happened.
And they get,
as you know, the history, people with living donors, that donation lasts a lot longer. So I would tell people to actually get out there and start campaigning. It's free to put a poster up on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever social media you use. Twitter still's there. Put something up. If you got a little bit of extra money, you could put a billboard up on a local highway sign. put a commercial up on your local TV stations. Anything you can do to benefit you, you do. There's no rules that said that you can't seek out to the world to get you a donor. If you could be in a church, like I said, I go to church out here in Brooklyn, and I go to one of the bigger churches. If my church holds 5,000 people, and out of them 5,000 people, only 30 people know I have kidney disease, is that a good number of people that know that I have kidney disease and I need a kidney? Nah, you got to put it out there so that the people could know. There's millions of people on this earth, and anybody from all aspects of the world, whether it could be a white person, a black person, Chinese,
it doesn't matter.
If they want to donate and they feel your story, they're gonna actually give to you. And it doesn't, you can the person, there's so many different things. You have the chain program where if a kidney might not fit you, it might fit somebody else, but you can still get a kidney inside that chain program. It's so much that you can do for yourself, but it takes you advocating for yourself and knowing what you can do. I hear so many people say, "Oh, I'm too old to go onto the internet." It's learning the internet is so simple, and once you pick it up and you get some learning to post and copy and paste or whatever you're gonna do, it's simple. If you got grandkids, kids, somebody can show you how to do something where you can post something somewhere and it get out. Like, I had a young lady earlier who asked me about getting out her flyer, and I put it out there, and she said, since I put it out there, she's gotten the most feedback. And it's like, if you've been doing this for months, clearly all you've been doing is posting it on your page and not asking your friends to forward it.
Sure,
and I think, me, I'm probably one of the lucky ones because I'm actually in a bike club. So I have a lot of friends all across the country. So I have over 5,000 friends on my Facebook. So with that being said, I have so many people that have shared, my what I'm going through, and it's funny because somebody might share it and not really care, but even if they don't care, they're taking action for you. So if you got one person taking action for you, and then behind that one person, you got 20 other people taking action. Now, instead of you just having one person taking action as yourself, now you got 22, 23 people taking action for you.
Wow. Yeah, that's like duplication, multiplication.
Yeah. People got to understand that. You got so many people that get on the list, and once they get on the list, they get complicit.
They do.
Yeah. Move forward.
Talking about
that. Steve and I were talking about that just recently. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you something, Terrence, and you can jump in this, Jared, as well. What you said was just dynamite about using the internet. However, we know that there's a dark side to that as well, where people scam and tug on people's emotion. In fact, I know someone who got scammed out of some money because they thought this person was going to, but they initiated it. They initiated the whole process. But I'm just saying,
the problem with
it
that
happens.
Now, I know that happens. But what people need to know is, if somebody's donating a kidney to you, it is illegal in the United States of America to pay for a kidney. So, I'm not going to sit back and say there aren't people who don't pay money under the table, because we all know, people do certain things to get to where they want to get. But if a person's coming to you, like I had a young lady, right during my process, right before I got this kidney, she told me, if you give me $10,000, I'll give you a kidney. No. And
it happens.
I know how it works. And
that may not even work. That may not even be guaranteed.
Right.
Yeah.
No. What if you pay it? I mean, how would that work? Pay 5,000 first, and then
she just takes a flight.
She was like, "Give me the 10,000 up front." I'm not stupid. I done been in this hustle game for a lot of years.
Right.
You won't get it.
But no. But Jared, I mean, I asked him that because we often hear of warriors online that get approached by some unknown
Right.
individual from these different countries like India or whatever, saying that they will offer them a kidney. They may not put the money and say, "Pay me now," but just the point of someone saying that I would give you my kidney can set a reaction in someone who's desperately looking for one.
Right. Now the thing is also, Steve, is that yes, it's illegal to pay somebody money, but most transplant hospitals, okay, they won't. Most of them won't accept an application from somebody who isn't, a resident. Now that doesn't mean that person, let's say somebody's from a different country, okay, if they have a valid visa and they come here and then they become a resident, then they can be, that application can still go through normally on a normal basis. And so what happens though is that, that they'll, because Jeff and I manage these other Facebook pages, that they'll try to say, well, help us come to the United States, and then we'll do this. Well, you can't help them. Technically, if you gave somebody money to come here, you can, but there's a line where, okay, if not everybody has the money, okay? If we lived in a utopia, in an ideal world where everybody had just a bucket load of money to spend to help somebody come to the United States, that would be great. Okay, but we just don't. It's just the normal kidney warrior doesn't have money and savings like that to help somebody come to the United States. Now, but it is sad and it's sickening, okay, that they are preyed upon, so to speak, and it happens. Okay, is that they'll say, well, my family is, we don't have a place to live, or my wife is sick, and then all of a sudden they're trying to tell stories about how their life is so poor or so bad, and that by helping them come to the United States, you're helping them, and if you don't help them, then you die, and then their family dies, and they try to tell some sort of story, and that's very discouraging that there are stories like that. And I read them because I get these messages. They don't know it's me. They think it's the kidney warrior, but I read them and it's just
right. So Terrence,
yes, sir.
How's your sister Robin? She left to go back home?
Nah, I'm not sure when they're going back home. She may go home maybe at the earliest Wednesday, but she has a doctor's appointment on Tuesday. She's in a little bit of pain, but she's okay.
Right. Did they prescribe you pain medicine?
Yeah, I'm on 5 milligrams of oxy.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. So did they just write you one prescription of that? Because there's a saying that they don't like to prescribe a lot of opioids now, and you have a lot of people who go to the hospital now and they have legitimate pain. These doctors think that they're seeking pain medication. Did they just write you one prescription and say that's it? Or
I'm sure if I wanted another prescription, I can get it.
Sure.
So I'm not really worried about that. But my focus is getting off of the pain pills.
Sure.
Many years ago, I was addicted to the pain pills. When I had a surgery on my kidneys. I had some decortization done in 2011, and right before I had that done, I was addicted to pain pills. So that's a route I never want to go again. And anybody that knows me knows that if you hear me taking what oxys or perks, you know that my pain threshold is through the roof.
It's pretty high.
I'll tell you a story. When they finally took me out of the restraints from the night of the surgery, most people decide to stay in the bed for a day or two. They had to put me in a chair. I had to get up, and the lady looked at me like I was crazy. She was like, "Why are you getting up?" And I'm like, "I'm not sitting. I'm not laying here. Get me up. Let me sit you know, my best friend was there, and he was like, "Yo, bro, you're minutes out of surgery," and I'm like, "Nah, I gotta sit. Let me sit." You know,
No,
if I
that says a lot about your personality. It says a lot about your character. You know,
yeah,
that
I could
you want
take
to get
pain,
up and get at them.
and that was my thing. You know, so they was actually surprised with my progress throughout these past few days. So you know, I
That's
just kept
awesome.
moving and moving and moving.
So I've got a question for you, Terrence. When you came out of surgery and your sister was out of surgery, what kind of a reunion was that? You know, to see
I
each
didn't see
other
my
for the
sister
first
till
time.
I didn't see my sister till the next day. She actually
Okay.
came like she was on the sixth floor and I was on the eighth floor.
All
So
right.
she actually came up to my room because I was in so much pain and I couldn't leave my
Uh-huh.
room because I was in
Okay.
ICU. So she came up there and it was just like, you know, I was happy to see her. So it was just actually me and her. So we
All
actually
right.
got to
Wow,
talk for a good while.
man.
We didn't even it was like, you know, we talked with our eyes, you know, because we both was in so much pain.
Uh-huh.
So it was just like, we're here, we're done. What's the next step?
So it's almost like communication between like just your facial expressions and eyes, and you kind of had that. You knew what that moment meant.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, you know, and she also seen like she didn't have anything connected to her. And I had this big thing coming out of my nose and this big thing coming out of my shoulder. And she just was looking at me like,
Right.
what's going on there? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm messed up here. And then I asked her, you know, I'm like, you got staples? And she was like, nah, she has like dissolvable sutures in her belly button. And me,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I got staples going straight up and down my belly to my chest.
Despite
Wow.
those things that
You got
were coming out of your nose, I mean, it sounded like it must have been must have been kind of an emotional moment, though. I mean, to see each other for the first time after the surgery and everything.
Yeah, and I think it was well over 24 hours since I seen her because I think she didn't come up until like the afternoon, and then
Uh-huh.
shortly after that, you know, she went back down because I kept dozing off. So and
Okay.
she wasn't feeling well, so she went back to her room, and then shortly after that, the family came up.
Hmm.
Yeah, you guys got any questions? You're watching this show. If you want to ask Terrence any questions, please just post a comment in the comment section and we'll put them up on the screen so Terrence can answer them. That's what he's here for right now, sharing the
Listen,
story and
I'll
answering any
answer
questions that you
anything.
may have about the transplant process, dialysis, or anything concerning dialysis, because he was a dialysis technician as well. So, like you said, he could check all three boxes. And
That's that's an
wow.
amazing hat trick.
Yeah, who would ever known, right? That's the hat trick you checking.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
So,
that's like a like in football, that would be like Lamar Jackson rushing for a touchdown, passing for one, and then maybe kicking a field goal or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah. So Kathy asked, when was the surgery, which was last Monday, and
Monday the
took, you
3rd.
said, about 11 hours.
Yeah, 10, 11 hours.
Uh-huh. Yes, Kathy, they took the kidneys out and first, right? They took
Yeah,
these.
the
Let's
kidneys
put a
out
picture
first, and
up.
then added the kidney.
Right. And let's go back and show a picture. So those are the diseased
Man,
kidneys.
I don't know if it's filtered or what, but they look like really bright red.
Yes.
Nah, but I have another picture, and it actually looks the same, where you actually
Really?
have the doctor's hands holding the kidneys,
Okay.
and and they actually look bigger in the other picture than in this picture.
Okay, because of the hand.
Yeah,
Okay, the
so it's
contrast and
it's
everything.
two
Yeah.
different doctors. One is holding one side, doctor's holding the other.
Oh
Hmm.
wow.
Right. So Terrence, Lisa Baxter from the Lisa Baxter Show wants to know,
My
what
girl,
are the highs and lows of your transplant?
ooh, highs. I got the
I mean, it's
kidney.
only been a week.
Yeah, the high. I got a kidney. The low. I'm secluded. I can't really be around anybody. So
Yeah, speaking of that, I saw you had did a Facebook post maybe the second day, of people, you're saying for people to stay away and only your immediate family? Were you getting any?
I kept getting requests. I mean, even people I didn't even know, like, yo, what hospital? I'm coming to visit you. I'm like,
You're like, dial it
that
down.
was weird.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, I guess the people want to show they're supporting their own way, but it was like, you know, my immune suppression is very low. So if you come into the hospital and you got a cold, it throws me off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now we already went over this, but Lisa also asked, "How is your pill process? The amount you're taking is 31.
It's 31. I take,
have you had any side effects?
As of right now, no. At 12 noon and 4, I only take one pill. I take a antifungal. So at 8 p.m. and 8 a.m., I take the most pills. So I take about 29 pills at that time.
Wow.
And that doesn't even include my my pain medicine or my stool softener.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now let me ask you, since your surgery, have your bowels came back? Because I know with surgery, what they call, I'm getting a little technical now, peristalsis, which is the wave movement or bowel sounds when they move. So did you have trouble with constipation this first week?
I have my best friend and his wife was at the hospital on Wednesday night. And anybody that ever had gas pains, gas pains are no joke. Those are like,
they're no joke. No joke.
Your knee.
Yeah.
And they was giving me pill, and they gave me a drink, Miralax. And they just kept feeding me with it, but it wasn't working. And I'm sitting there Wednesday night and I'm just laying. I'm like, my stomach was hurting so bad. So the night doctor came in and she was like, okay, I'm gonna give you an enema. And my best friend and his wife was having jokes. Yeah, you take the enema, take the enema. I'm like, I'm one of the men like, ain't nobody touching my behind. That's not happening. So I'm sitting there, and my stomach it's doing all kind of things. So they live in Brooklyn, and I was all the way deep in Long Island. And it's like, as soon as they got up to walk out, my stomach just dropped. I got up and I ran to the bathroom and used the bathroom.
Okay.
They didn't do the enema.
They wasn't gonna do the enema.
you put the stop to it.
Yeah, that wasn't happening at all.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, man. I mean, because I know with any major surgery, that peristalsis stops, and that's where the gas and all that
the gas
comes into play. And
that's not a joke. You're right.
And that's why it's recommended, right after surgery, if you can get up and move around, that's the best thing for it.
And that's what I felt. That's what I've been doing.
Get that flatulence going, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
But like I said, when I did that first bowel movement, I felt my stomach felt like, I don't know, it just felt like relief.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
I mean, gas pains can be like sharp pains, man. It's
and it just kept coming. Like it'll come, it'll go. It'll come, it'll go. But when it came, it was just like a sharp pain. And I'm like,
right.
So when I finally was able to use the bathroom, it was just like, okay, I'm using the bathroom. And when the nurse came, she was like, how you feel? And I'm like, I'm using the bathroom.
Okay, so Terrence, Pamela wants to know, can she move up on the transplant list if she is having severe difficulties with dialysis?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure that applies to a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, difficulties depends on who, the particular person, but that probably won't happen. The best way for Pamela to get a kidney now, I would say, she's been posting, is to try and get a living donor. Once you get a living donor and everything is all clear, you could clear everything within about a month and be on that table within a month and a half.
I hate to put it. Go ahead, Terrence, what you were saying?
I mean, so that would be the best, try and find a living donor. So
I
You
hate
know,
to put him on the spot, Jared. The Brown brothers. No, but Jared can give you some pointers, Pamela, on what you can do to be more visible online, because this is what him and his brother do. They do graphic artistry. Can you explain a little bit, Jared, of what you and your brother do for Pamela? She's new to this community.
Well, I'll gladly echo what Terrence has said. I mean, you really have to find a way to promote yourself, and so the best way to do that is you can. I mean, you can post something on your regular Facebook feed, and that can be effective. But if you can create a Facebook page that is more known for business pages, but creating a Facebook page for your search for a living kidney donor is a fantastic idea, because if there's a post that works, you can see the statistics of why it's effective. And if there's another post you put out there and you don't see the same reach, then you can see that it's not effective. So you can see what is effective, what isn't. And then the one that is effective, you can actually pay some money to have Facebook get that more attention. You can boost it, run an ad, and you can get yourself some more exposure. And you can actually put it in for, let's say, I don't know where you live, Pamela, but you can make sure that your ad that you're running it is going to be seen for people that just live in and around your state or surrounding states, and you can be very, strategic. So, I mean, that right there is my biggest suggestion, is to create a Facebook page. And then there are some apps that you can just put on your phone. I mean, Terrence said it, and I'll echo it, is that there are apps that you can use, and one of them is Photolab. Photolab is one of the very first applications that my twin brother and I first started using, because it's so simple. It has many templates already on the app, and then you just put a text on it, and you can put a background. You can change the background. You can make yourself look like you have different colored hair. I mean, Photolab is a great app that's very user friendly. If you're not sure how to use it, we'll be happy to do a video tutorial and show you how to use it. But it's fairly user friendly.
Now, Jared, one question I want to ask. So this is another person who may advertise. How do one surpass other people who's looking for a donor as well? I mean, if you're in the sea of other people that's looking for donors, how can one stand out?
You've got to stand out. You've got to try to create something that doesn't look like somebody or something else. And so I know that everybody doesn't necessarily like superheroes, but so some people think that that if you put in a video about a superhero, that it may be belittling or making light of the kidney disease. But some people may or may not like it. You can't really worry about whether somebody likes something or they don't like it. You just have to put out something that looks somewhat different. Use some bright. Jeff and I try to use really bright colors. So that's another that answers your question a little bit, Steve. Is that if you're going to want to stand out, use really bright colors, really like lime green, bright yellow, pink, violet, purple, just really bright colors that will help your post stand out if you're using bright colors. You just have to be, use different fonts, have a font that doesn't look like somebody else's. You just have to try to do something that doesn't look like something else. I mean, it's like you have to treat it like a business, and if you're going to run a business, you can't look like another business. If it looks exactly like this other business, then people may not see it as much. You have to try to stand out. But the other thing that that other warriors have said, that have been on a number of the shows that we've done, Steve, on the Urban Health Outreach Media Network, is just trying to do a video. And I get it. Not everybody has the personality to be on a video, but practice. You know, be in front, be on your mobile phone and do some practice runs. But if you could actually do live video, Facebook Live or Instagram Live, and you can, and it doesn't even have to be very long, like 30 seconds to a minute. It doesn't have to be like an hour long, you know, and you're doing this big old long thing. It doesn't have to be like that. But if people can see your face and they see your facial expressions, then they can feel a connection better if they're watching you, and and then they feel that connection. That connection is what's going to tie a living kidney donor to want to actually, you know, donate, because, you know, you can put out your name and you can put out, you know, that your donor blood type needs to be blood type O, and a good person who's, you know, a man of faith and just wants to do the right thing, you know, may actually apply just by seeing that. But if somebody sees your face and they see how sad you appear because you're downtrodden and you're depressed because you're tired of being on dialysis, and you feel fatigued before you go to dialysis, and you feel fatigued afterwards, and you're talking about how you feel, then that on video is gold, because they want to help somebody if they have some sort of understanding of how you may feel.
Right. Let me ask Terrence, before you got this transplant from your sister, you was on dialysis 6 years. Did you look for a kidney? Were you on the transplant list looking?
Yes, I've been looking. I've been doing Facebook posts. I've been doing live messengers. I've done so much stuff where I could actually I've had people looking at me, you know, and you have to understand, like you know, Jared said, you know, you're selling yourself. So as long as you're selling yourself, you know, people can see who you are. You are your own business.
Right.
Wow.
And if people can't see you, they won't know who you are. You know, you could be in the back of the crowd, you know, of 100,000 saying me,
I need a
and
kidney.
if can't nobody see you, you're really not there.
Right.
So, Terrence, was it getting to a serious point that your sister had to step in to donate?
Yeah, I actually ended up in the hospital on December 28th, you know, from a major cyst burst.
Oh, wow.
Let's look at that.
My potassium was extremely high.
One more time.
My potassium was extremely high. Also my blood pressure was extremely low. So
like too low.
I actually got 911 to the hospital, and it was a very bad thing, you know, because they wasn't sure whether I was gonna make it or not.
Wow.
So
was that the driving factors that, you know, after that happened, she felt like, wow, I need to do something?
Yeah, they actually came up. My dad's birthday was that next day, and I called my mom and I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing for Dad's birthday? And she was like, we're on our way to come see you. And I'm like, come see me. Now, mind you, I'm going so much, I got so much meds in my system. I'm not thinking my hospital visit's that serious. I'm like, I'm just gonna be in there too. You know, I ended up staying over.
You hadn't,
and it just got worse and worse as the days was going by.
Wow. So, Terrence, I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm getting tired. We did about an hour, but before we close out this broadcast, what would you want people to know about your experience? We're going to give you the last word, but what would you want people to know about your experience as a caregiver, now as a transplant recipient? What would you want them to know about your experience and organ donation?
I've always been an open person. I've always had a big heart. I love people. You know, before this, I started a group called Union Community, which was giving back to the community, whether it be the homeless, the sick, you know, the youth. I just love people genuinely, because we're one race, one human race. So getting into dialysis was another way of me helping people. And actually, I got paid for it to take care of my family. But then when I got sick, I realized, here I'm learning now from the people that I once was helping. Then, now I'm on a transplant, I'm a transplant recipient. So it's a lot that I've learned. It's a lot that I want to give to the world, so all my dialysis boot campers, I'm here, if you see my name, click on my name, you can add me, you can inbox me. I have an abundance of knowledge, and I want to share it with the world. Anybody that has knowledge is not willing to share it is a stubborn person and selfish. And I'm not that person. I want you to know what I know, and I'm willing to help anybody. You want to get a living donor? I might not be able to get you a living donor, but I can help you with the avenue of going towards getting a living donor. You're having problems in your dialysis clinic and you're not understanding why certain things are certain ways. You can ask, and and I can probably help you and point you in the right direction of where you need to go. So that's me. Again, I'm Terrence McLean, and I'm a dialysis transplant recipient, a kidney recipient. And I'm a happy person with a nice smile.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And we definitely look forward in collaborating with you, Terrence, because we definitely need to get that information out. And see, the thing about us, I mean, we just don't stick to one thing. I mean, because kidney disease is so big, so many angles that we try to hit from, doing the stages 1 to 5, dialysis, this peritoneal, home hemo, or nocturnal, transplant, or
diabetes, high blood pressure.
Rejection. Just try to hit it all, man. And so it definitely would be helpful. So, guys, like Terrence said, you could click on this name, ask them questions. 15-year dialysis technician, definitely got a lot of inside information. Transplant warrior, Jared, you got to have them co-host.
I'd love to have you on
Warriors
Quest. Yeah, because I like I said at the beginning of the show, brother, it does mean so much to people who are looking for a kidney donor currently to hear your story, and to hear what you've been through, and to hear that you're smiling, and that your sister donated. I mean, it just, and I also liked what you said is, at the very beginning, or maybe it was when we were offline, I'm not sure, but that when people hear what you're saying, because it's coming from you and you're a recipient, it holds a lot of water. You know what I mean? I can't remember your words exactly, but it's very credible, and people, they get uplifted because it's you've been through it yourself.
They don't hear from a doctor or nurse. They rather hear from somebody who lived it.
Yes, that's what you said. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
Absolutely. So I'm sure, Terrence, your wife is happy that you're home and pretty much recovering well.
Yeah. She's actually not home. She's at my mother-in-law house now,
Okay.
She needs a break sometime too, because I could be overwhelmed.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, Terrence, man, again, thank you for coming on, sharing your story.
I hear her voice now coming in.
Oh, okay. I talked her up, huh? But definitely, please reach out to Jared so
for sure
he can get you on as a co-host. We do these shows every Wednesday from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah.
Jared, nice meeting you. We'll work together.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, Terrence. We'll be talking to you soon, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Good one. You too. Bye-bye. So, Jared, what do you think, man, as we close this show up with Terrence, his story?
I love his story. A dialysis technician. He's been on dialysis himself, and now he's a recipient. He's got the hat trick, and he's a wealth of knowledge because of having done each of those three things. And I just think he's a great asset to the kidney disease community. I love his personality. You know, he talks about that he loves people, wants to help people, and that anybody who doesn't share information when they have it is selfish. You know, I just like that. There's so many good things that he said that I love. I really do, man. I thoroughly enjoyed this interview. It really did.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was definitely great to hear him. Like you said, I guess his best part was he's able to smile.
Yeah.
Now, that was just awesome.
It is.
Awesome.
You know, because, you know, many people don't understand what kidney warriors go through. And one day it can knock you down to your knees. And, you know, and you can wonder, you know, why is God doing this to me? And for him to feel like he can smile again. I mean, that itself just, it makes me a little giddy. It gives me a little joy. It does.
Right, right.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, Jared. Well, man, thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
And, you know, co-hosting this show with me. Who's on Warriors Quest this week?
Well, we've got a caretaker, a wife again, and another husband. Eric Vanderberg has kidney disease, and his wife is the caretaker. And so we'll be hearing from Eric Vanderberg, and we may be hearing from his wife a little bit too, kind of like with Jasmine and Lewis Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've got a husband and wife again, you know, and you know it's so gratifying to get these stories out there, but it's more gratifying when we have people come together and we get that information out there. So, you know, as much as I love doing it, I just ask for people's help to help me share. The more watch parties we can do, and the more we can share these broadcasts, the more, you know, our reach is much better that way. So thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So, all right, man. Can't wait till this Wednesday to see Warriors Quest, 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. with Jared A. Brown. Again, Jared, thanks for coming on. We'll be talking with you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care. You too.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Whoops. So, guys, this was a great show. I'm telling you, if you in Dallas's Boot Camp 101, you were privileged to see Terrence McLean. You were able to see the diseased kidney, which we posted in the group, but you were just able to hear his story 1 week after his transplant surgery, which was last Monday, which was donated from his baby sister. And great story. So, guys, again, thank you for tuning in. Be on the watch out for more videos like this. Not everyone will be able to see it. So if you know anybody have kidney disease or family members, tell them about this group, but also tell them to fill out the questionnaire that is asked before the group, and to sign the rules and regulations. Other than that, guys, have a great evening. God bless you. And look, this group is going to be awesome. Oh, let me tell you, I'm going to tell you what day, but be on the lookout for a quiz. And the quiz is going to cover everything that I put out last week. All right. So if you're watching this show and you're part of this group, which you got to be because this is shown in this group, you know that quiz is coming out sometime this week, and it's going to be based on the information that I posted in the group. So be on the lookout. All right. Again, thank you guys for watching. God bless you. Have a great evening. See you this week. Peace.
Y'all, it's about to go down. I said, y'all, it's about to go down.